What's up, everybody? How you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you being here. Eric Beer. This is the channel where you're going to learn all about leads, lead generation, how to build a lead generation business. And last week we went into a little bit of a training. We broke it up into 7 parts, talked about lead gen arbitrage from the standpoint of somebody who is just gonna go and take a sale, back it out into a lead, and then go arbitrage it out into the marketplace. And during that time, somebody asked me a question. I said, all right, I wanna do this. I'm interested in the lead gen vertical. I wanna sell to plumbers. What I decided to do today is I'm gonna take you through a process where if I were to start a business and I wanted to market to plumbers, I wanted to create a lead generation plumber business where I'm selling leads to plumbers, okay? And you could do this with any vertical, right? But I'll use plumbers as an example. So I'm gonna walk you through the process on how I would do this, the steps I would take. I'm gonna do it on the board here so you can follow along with me. I have some notes down just to save us some time that I can read, and I tried to put some numbers here so that, so that we don't have to wait too long with me using the calculator as I go through this. But I'm gonna do this pretty quickly at a high level to give you guys an idea. If I go too fast, then just watch this video over and again. And then just press pause after each step, do it, and then press play again. So before I get started, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Looking to build up this channel for people that are interested in leads, understanding how to generate leads for their business or for other people. All you entrepreneurs out there, this is it. I want you guys all here. I'm gonna help you out. I'm gonna do it just because I want to pay it forward. I'm not selling you anything. I'm really thankful for where I'm at in my life, and I just want to pay it forward right now. We're gonna dive in here, but before I do, I have a text community where people are shooting me text messages, asking me questions. You can subscribe there. Just text me at 917-636-1998. I have a podcast, right? Performance Marketer. You can subscribe there and listen to all my episodes. And of course, this YouTube channel. Subscribe, share this, comment. I really want more engagement. So I've been trying to figure out ways that I can do that. So someone said something about contests, and I had no idea what that meant. Contests are comments that you have with some sort of contest. So like you do a contest where we'll do something like, all right, the people that comment the most and share this video, we're gonna give away something free. So I got plenty of things I can give away. I can give away just things that can help your business. I can give away my free book. I have a book that's $1 Million Dads that is a bestseller. I can give it to you free. I can send you a free book. We have swag, we have t-shirts, we have water bottles. So I guess the question I have for you today is, what would you want if I did these tests to see if I'm gonna give something away for you commenting and engaging with this video? What would you want? I'm curious. So comment below, let me know what that is. I mean, maybe I'll surprise you and start giving some stuff away free in these videos, or I will do it for the future videos. All right, we're gonna dive in here and we're gonna go through this process, okay? We're thinking about starting a lead gen business, and what we wanna do is we wanna sell leads to plumbers. We're gonna call this a plumber vertical. What that means is I, as a company, am gonna go out to the market, go out to the world. I'm either gonna buy media myself, I'm gonna go to affiliates, and I'm gonna start generating leads. I'm gonna get traffic to get people to raise their hand that are looking for a plumber. Now, there's a lot of things that can go into that, okay? And I'll dive in a little bit here, but I don't want to go too crazy. I want to keep it very high level and simple. Bottom line is I'm going to generate a lead. Someone's going to raise their hand. They're looking for a plumber. I'm going to go find plumbers that want leads. We're going to make a market. We're going to generate this lead for X. We're going to sell it for Y. We are going to make a profit, okay? Last week we talked about this where we went through the math of like the buying of the media, looking at the math, seeing if it works. The first thing we're going to want to understand is all we can learn about the plumber's business, okay? We're going to want to understand what the value of a customer is, right? So the lifetime value of a customer. For the purposes of this, we're gonna say for every visit, it's $1,000, and let's say per visit. And we're gonna say that when a plumber gets a sale, let's call it that they're on average going to get at least 3 visits from that customer, 3 average visits. If we look at that and they go there 3 times, then 3 times 1, so it's a $3,000 LTV, lifetime value. Boom. So now we have an idea of what the customer is worth to the plumber. Now I want to understand a bunch of stuff about what I need to collect. I need to understand from the lead on the data collection, what do I need to collect? All right, so what I mean by that is name, email, phone, address, etc., etc. We can dive into a bunch of stuff, but bottom line is the more information you collect, the more valuable the lead is. The less information you collect, the cheaper it should be, right? Because it's lower value. One, the more information somebody puts in, the more they're trusting and willing to work with you and give you their information, right? So like someone giving their name, yeah, that's personal. Their email, now you're starting to give them something that's personal but not crazy, right? Your phone, that's I'd say that's the next step. Someone gives you a phone, that's a much warmer lead, right? And they're giving you your address where you're ultimately going to be working if you're the plumber. So that's important for a few reasons. Number one is obviously we need to know where we're going. But number two is in this scenario, geolocation is important. A plumber that's in Atlanta does not want to lead for somebody that's living in New York or California, right? So in this type of business, if you're selling leads to plumbers, it's going to depend on what your back-end buy side is. And I'll get into that in a second. Just to take this a step further, here. So here's the information that we collect. Now, what are the types of services that we're going to be collecting this lead on, right? So like with a plumber, they have an HVAC business, heating, ventilation, air conditioning. Are we doing it with heating and ventilation? Are we doing, someone has a leak, right? So leak detection. Are we doing something with some drains, like a drain service, a clog in your shower? Maybe you're installing or replacing something, a refrigerator or AC unit or washer dryer, inspections and maintenance, things like that. So in this scenario, we're gonna have to capture information to figure out what do you need. Each plumber could offer all these services. They may offer only certain services. We don't know, right? These are the things we need to learn. If we really dive into this business, I will guarantee you something here of these things, HVAC, leak detection, drain services. All of these things are, one of them is going to be more common than the other. They're going to get a lot more calls. If a plumber is going to somebody's house 100 times a month, there's going to be a percentage that's going to be the reason why they're there is because of HVAC. The reason why they're there is because of leaks. So we're going to have to figure that part out when we're generating the lead and then be able to sell that to the plumber. It's important to understand in the lead form, in this scenario, we host the form. What that means is it's my form. I'm collecting the data versus if the advertiser hosted the form, in that scenario, then the plumber would be giving you a link to drive traffic to their page. But that's not what we're doing here. Someone asked me they want to have a lead gen business with plumbers. You can't have a lead gen business with plumbers if you're driving traffic to just one person's site. That's their business. You're driving traffic to their form. They're collecting the data. In that world, you're an affiliate, right? So you take the offer, you go, you push it to theirs, they generate it, boom, you get paid. What did it cost you to generate it? What did you get paid? That's the business, boom, it's done, right? Very easy. This is a very different business. This is a serious, you could do this. This is building a real deal business. There's huge businesses out in the world that have sold for $50, $100, $200 million plus doing things just like this, building out different verticals. So in this scenario, you're hosting the form. You're collecting the data. It's going into your database, and then you're gonna deliver the lead to the plumber. The way we're gonna be doing this is we need to understand what are they doing? What's the sales cycle? So we need to know what happens. When we go and we capture this name, email, phone, address, we figure out what they want, what they're looking for. Well, then what happens? What does the plumber need to close from a lead to a sale, right? Are we booking a meeting online, right? Because at the end of the day, what are they looking for? They want to be able to give them a quote, right? So what we're ultimately doing is we're looking to get the plumbers to be able to quote on the project that the homeowner needs. That's ultimately the end goal, right? And then at that point, X amount of homeowners are going to accept that quote and do business with the plumber. So are we booking a meeting online? Are we scheduling a call? Or are we doing an in-person meeting? We could be doing that. or the back-end plumber could be doing that. So we need to understand what we as the lead gen company are doing. The first step is generating a lead. That's it. If I'm alone by myself, I'm not doing any of this stuff. I wouldn't have the manpower. This is a business in itself. However, if I were to go and start booking meetings, then the value of the lead would go up astronomically. The more you do, the more vertical you go. Generate the lead, book the meeting, give the quote. The further down the road you go, the more expensive that lead will be worth to you because you're doing more work and you're gonna have more cost, plus you're generating a much higher qualified lead. That's really important for you to understand. But for here, all we're doing is we're just gonna generate a lead gen vertical. We're not gonna do any of this, but this is how the plumber is going to work to give a quote, right? The end goal is they wanna quote home owner. From the quote, you're gonna have a sales conversion. So what I wanna do is I wanna understand now the back end buy side. So back end buyers, first thing is, are we generating leads on a national level or local? That's really important. National level, either A, you have plumbers all around the country that are willing to buy those leads for you. So now you can run traffic to your form and not have to target by state. Versus if you're local and you're only generating plumbers in New Jersey, well then you can't be generating leads for people in California, or you're not gonna have anybody in the back end to buy it. There's a lot of ways to skin this cat. There's aggregators out there, right, that you can work with who are willing to buy all of those leads because they're more established and they have a ton of buy side on the back end. You can ultimately start to build a business where you have local plumber, and if you're generating any leads for an aggregator, you'll just sell all of your lead overflow that you can't sell to the aggregators. If you don't have anybody that's gonna buy nationally, then you have to go and you target local plumbers. It takes time to build a back end. But bottom line is, you start, if you have nothing, with a local plumber or local plumbers, right? You go and you build a back end and you're ultimately talking to plumbers saying, hey, listen, I'm generating leads. Here's what I'm doing. This is what I'm collecting, and I'm gonna deliver that lead to you. Here's the thing. What are you gonna sell the lead for? What's the model? The cost to plumber. There's a few different models here. First thing I wanna start off with is I want you to understand the two most important things. The number one thing is time. That means when you generate the lead, how much time do you deliver that lead to a plumber? It could be real time, it could be 2 days, it could be 15 days, it could be 30 days. The quicker you deliver it, the more expensive it is. Number two is exclusive versus non-exclusive. You guys have heard when banks compete, you win, right? LendingTree. What they do is they generate leads, and then they go and they sell that lead a few times to different banks. And those banks then work to try to get your business, right? They come after you. You get a bunch of phone calls. This is ultimately LendingTree's model. However, I'm gonna show you some numbers where you don't even need to be national. You don't have to generate a ton of leads to have a really nice business. Bottom line is exclusive versus non-exclusive. The other things you're gonna wanna know is from your buyers, like what's their budget, right? Do they have caps on a daily basis for leads? So lead cap, the delivery of leads. And this could be a challenge. It really depends. You know, you have plumbers who are out working, right? They're in houses and they're doing what plumbers do. Who has time to start working leads? And that's really, really important. That's why when I said to you, we generate the lead and then you might have to help book the meeting online for a quote, or potentially give them a quote if you can standardize whatever it is that we're trying to generate lead. Like they might, for an inspection or maintenance, the typical cost for that is X, right? To install a fridge is Y. You know, whatever the costs are. If you can do it and get it to that point, then you can start booking and quoting on behalf of certain plumbers. But the thing is, when you have a back end of multiple plumbers, they're all gonna be different. So it's hard. But bottom line is, you need to understand how you're gonna deliver those leads. And what I mean by that is, are we gonna generate the lead and then email it to them? Are we gonna generate the lead and then text the information to their phone? Are we gonna generate the lead, get the user on the phone, and then transfer that live call to their phone for them to pick up and communicate with the consumer right there and then? There's a lot of different ways you can do that. Again, all of those processes will have a different value. okay? So, just keep that in mind. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna work on some real numbers and I'm gonna play around with a few different models and then I'm gonna show you what that looks like, okay? Let's start off with exclusive, okay? Let's say an exclusive lead, which means you're generating a lead and that lead is only going to one buyer. What are we gonna say? We're gonna say that is $50 per lead. Here's the thing. If you're going to sell this lead as a non-exclusive lead, which means you're selling one person's information to multiple plumbers that are gonna give multiple quotes, which, right, any homeowner wants people to compete. If they compete, then the value of that lead to each of the plumbers may not be worth as much because they're now competing. But from the homeowner's perspective, the quote should be lower. They can't get taken advantage of. In that scenario, here's how that would work. You set it up where you figure out how many times you can sell that lead, but you're also gonna sell that lead for less. But here's the really interesting about this. You can do it where, let's say, you take 60% off and you charge $20 a lead, right? The thing is, you're gonna sell that lead 4 times, 4 plumbers. At the end of the day, you're now selling that lead and you're making $80 per lead. What's better, 50 or 80? Well, obviously 80, yeah. But you never know. I mean, sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. You gotta play around with this and see. You can sell some exclusive and some you can sell multiple times, right? Remember, time is of the essence. So there's a lot that goes into that. You could do a hybrid of exclusive and then wait a certain period of time and then sell it later as a hybrid. So you give one plumber X amount of time to close that lead, a week, 10 days, 15 days, and then at that point, then you can resell the lead again. So if you sold it for 50, maybe in 15 days, you can sell it for X. Let me give you an idea of what that looks like for when you're selling it like that, right? So you're selling here where it's 20, but let me show you something where it's a hybrid version. In this scenario, right, let's say day 1, you're gonna sell it for 50 bucks. Then let's say day 2, you're gonna sell it for $35, right? So we're taking the price down because they're getting the second day, but who knows what that plumber's doing? Who knows if the plumber got in touch? So this guy might want to buy day 2. And you know what? For 35 bucks, he might be great at closing. He might feel really confident. I mean, we don't know how long it takes for when you give a quote to when they're going to close on the business. It's really important, right? You give somebody a quote, they might be ready to buy it right there and then they need it, or they might be just getting quotes and kind of, gathering information to make a decision in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month. We don't know. Day 3, you could sell that lead and we're going to sell it cheaper, let's say for $25 a lead. Then let's say we hold off and then day 15, we're going to sell that lead for 10 bucks. After that, there's 15 days that went by. So this is the 4th time you're selling this lead for 10 bucks. Let's say 30 days, we're gonna sell it for $5, 50, 85, 110, 120, 125. Boom. You sold and you made $125 with this hybrid model, right? You're selling exclusive day 1. Everything is up front, by the way. All of these people know what's going on and you're giving them the choice. If they don't like it or you're playing around and you realize, you know what, day 1 for 50 bucks, this dude needs more time. Truly exclusive, maybe you can't sell it till day 3 or day 5 or you got to play around with those numbers, right? But you're building this business and you're trying to figure out what works, because at the end of the day, we remember there's 4 things. 4 people need to be happy in any lead gen business, right? 4 people. Number 1 is the consumer. Number 2 is the buyer, right? The plumber has to be happy. They have to close business. These people have to be happy because they're getting the service that they are signing up for, right? And they're getting good service. Number 3 is you. You need to be profitable. It needs to work for you. And number 4 is the media publisher needs to sell the traffic for what they want, so they're making money. So in this scenario, we need to buy traffic from publishers, and it has to be affordable to us so that we can be profitable. This is what we did last week, right? On that training, the 7-day training for the lead arbitrage. Check it out. If you didn't, subscribe to the YouTube channel and you will get notifications about when we launch these types of trainings. Again, we are profitable. So then the plumber also is buying the lead, and it's buying it in a way where it's also profitable for him, where he's closing some leads into sales, and it's backing out for whatever they pay for the leads, and he's making more money. And then the consumer has to get the service they asked for. 4 winners. That's the success of any business, right? That is the secret to any business. Those 4 people need to win. So here we go. Now, from our side, from us as the lead gen, once we start to go out into the market, you get into the creatives, the funnels, the traffic, and blah, 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 blah. We're not gonna get into that today, okay? We did that in the lead arbitrage training, but high level, we're gonna generate leads. When we generate leads, it's what is the sales conversion into a customer, and then what is the value of the customer. What I'm gonna do for you is I am going to do some math to show you what this business looks like, okay? We'll do this in different colors so you can see it. I hope you can read my handwriting. This is it, baby. I love it, right? So I put some math down on here just to kind of play around with it. But so I did it with 2 models. I'm not gonna do it with this model right here. I'm gonna do it with the less expensive leads. Let's say that we go out and we generate 1,000 leads for the month. That means that on a 30-day month, that's 33 leads per day. It's not a lot of leads, right? 33 leads per day, okay? We're selling this for $50 per lead. We're gonna go and we're looking at 1,000 leads. We're selling it for $50 a lead. So that's gonna equal $50,000 in revenue. $50,000 in revenue, right? We're selling this to one buyer right here, generating 50K. If you multiply that times 12, you're talking about $600,000 business per year. Let's do the same exact thing, but we're gonna do it for the non-exclusive, right? In this scenario, if we build that business, we've got $80 per lead, right? Here, we need more buyers, right? Because we're selling it 4 times, right? So, right, because we're selling it for 20 per day, $20 per lead times 4, right? $20 times 4 is $80, right? So 80 bucks. So in this scenario, $80,000 in revenue per month. And that is going to equal, what is that? 800, oh, we're almost at $1 million. $960,000 per year. So we almost have $1 million business right here, generating 33 leads per day on average and selling it for 80 bucks. Boom. Beautiful, right? A lot of this is going to be determined by, is the plumber closing on those leads? Is the consumer happy, right? You need to be profitable, and the publisher, when they're selling their traffic, when they're selling their media, you need to be able to get media. You need to be able to get leads for cheaper than what the lead per value is to you, right? Remember what we did? Oh my God, what's your revenue per lead? Remember we did that last week, right? So what is the revenue per lead, okay? RPL. Here, how do you figure out what your revenue per lead is? Well, right here, we're selling it at 80 bucks. Right here, we're selling it at 50 bucks. Remember that? RPL. So in this scenario, here, what margin do you want to work at? Easy math. If you want to work at 50% margins, you can afford $25 to generate a lead. Here, you can afford $40 to generate that lead. If the RPL is 50, the allowable at 25% margin, 50% margin, would be $25 at $80 per lead, 40 bucks. So then what would happen is you're gonna now go out to the market and you're gonna start generating leads for 25 bucks to $40, depending on how you're selling those leads, and see if you can generate good, high quality leads, which for $25, $40 a lead, you should probably generate a ton of really high quality leads. You definitely can. But so let me show you where it gets a little bit more interesting. Now, when you generate the lead, we need to understand from the plumber's perspective, how many are they closing, okay? So what I did here was, if you look at it from 1,000, we're gonna say that the close rate, I'm gonna use a very small number, and I'm gonna say that less than 1% of these leads convert into customers. We're gonna close 5% of the leads, of the close rate. Okay, that means 95% of the leads are not going to become customers. 5% of these people are going to become customers. So 5% conversion rate at 1,000 will mean that we're going to generate 50 new customers per month. There you go. So we have 50 new customers per month. We have 1,000 leads a month. We're closing at 5%, 50, okay? Now, how do we know if it worked for the plumber or not? Well, remember, we need to understand what the lifetime value of the customer is right here. We said, on average, when a plumber goes to a house to give their services, on average, they're charging about $1,000 for that visit, okay? So that's for your first visit. Okay, great. So on that first visit, if we have 50 new customers and the value, the LTV is 1,000, that means that the plumbers are going to make back $50,000. Well, in this scenario, what did you sell the leads for? $50,000. Right here, the plumbers have made back their money already. But the thing is that plumbers, this is a relationship game. For plumbers, when they go into somebody's house and they perform a service, if they do a good job, they're gonna come back when there's an issue. In this scenario, it's $50,000. But what we said was every time that a plumber gets a new customer, on average, they're gonna get 3 visits. On those 3 visits, at $1,000 a visit, the lifetime value of a customer, a new customer to a plumber, is $3,000. So in this scenario, instead of them making 50K over a period of time, and we don't know, like I said, time's always of the essence. How long until you get these 3 visits? It could be a month, could be 6 months, could be a year. That's something that's important because of the cash flow for the plumbers. But at the end of the day, 3 times will equal $150,000. Boom. The plumber is making $150,000 off the $50,000 they spent for these leads. Would you do that if you're a plumber? Come on, of course you would. One, you have a machine just pumping leads for you, so you don't need anybody going out to the market helping you. You know, maybe you get your references from friends and family and loyal customers, but you know, to take control of your business, really scale something, you need an inflow of leads, and those leads need to convert into customers, right? So those customers then are gonna be valued at something. We're just helping plumbers build their business. The plumbers are gonna love you. Lastly, what I wanna do is I just wanna show you when you scale a business like this. And I wanna give you some idea of what this could look like, because this is it, right? I mean, this is beautiful. I mean, everybody should watch this. If you want to start a vertical in anything, right? You want to start selling auto insurance leads, right? You want to start selling mortgage leads. It's all the same. This is all this model, this framework is all the same. It doesn't really matter what it is, right? It's just understanding this concept, okay? And here's the scale of it, right? So instead of doing 1,000 a month, what we're going to do is we're going to do 250 a day. So we're going to do 250 leads per day, 30 days. That's going to be 7,500 per month. The reason why I want to show you this is because, I mean, this is nothing. 250 a day is nothing. It really, I mean, there's a lot of people in the world, right? A lot of people have toilets. A lot of people have houses. 250 a day is not a tremendous amount, but I just want to show you like what the numbers could look like for you. So at 250 a day, we're going to do it the same way, right? We're going to do at $50 for the exclusive. We're selling it per lead, and that is $375,000 in revenue. And if we're selling it for 80, if the non-exclusive is working, then we're selling it for 600K. So that's the revenue on a monthly basis for your business, 375 to 600,000, depending on the model. You have a business that you're between 375,000 and 600,000 per month. I mean, that's sexy, right? Want to do that per year? What does that work out to? $4.5 million. It's a $4.5 million business. 600,000, what is that? That's 7.2 million. That's a nice business, guys. That is a beautiful business, right? If you're working, let's call it your net margin, let's say it's 25%, right? So 4 or 5, then you're making 1.125 a year. Net profit at 25%. at 7.2, 1.8. That's take home, guys. That's net. This is net profit. Your 25% net margin, and you are making serious money. That's it. That's all I got for you today. It's a lot of information. I'm gonna stop here, but this training right here is absolute gold. I mean, you can go and take this and just slow-mo this from the steps all the way down, from the top to the bottom. And when you're working it, right, once you start getting into the business, now you might want to come back to this because there's things that are going to come up to make the business flow and work. But there's this framework is how it gets done. You know, guys, I hope this was helpful. I know I've seen it. Companies have made millions and millions of dollars. You know, if the person that asked me about selling leads to plumbers, here you go. I did it for you, right? If you guys want to ask me questions about this, or you want me to do things like this for you on these channels, then I'm happy to do so. Comment below and subscribe to the channel. Subscribe, please subscribe, so that you get notifications when we do things like that. If you want to text me, 917-636-1998. But so, guys, with that said, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate y'all. I hope this is helpful for you. Like I said, I'm not selling you a thing. This is all for you. I'm just paying this forward, right? And I hope somebody takes this and kicks butt. And if you do, let me know, because that would be so amazing. It makes me feel good when I help others. If I make an impact on your life, the joy that I get out of that is just better than anything. So with that said, I appreciate you guys being here. Good luck out there. I'm rooting for you. Just get started. Don't be perfect. Just get started, okay? You're gonna mess up. There's gonna be some bumps in the road. It's very, very normal. I fail a ton. You need to just get started with this, right? And even if you're not making money in the beginning, it's okay. Just keep going. Persevere. That's how you will be successful. Be well, be blessed, and I'm out.